Hello again, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Andre. I hope you liked that little noodling intro I made. I'm still trying to figure out how to structure my videos in terms of what interests you, so I'm experimenting. Let me know in the comments what you think. As the title of this video says, I want to talk about this guitar here, which is a replica of Ibanez's Universe guitar from the early 90s. More specifically, this is a replica of the UV77MC, where MC stands for multicolored. And if you are a guitar player and a fan of Steve Vai or know of Steve Vai, you know what this guitar is. This is a replica of the Passion and Warfare guitar that is on the cover of his album Passion and Warfare. And I had this guitar made back in 2004 when I commissioned it, and it got delivered to me in 2006, late summer of 2006. If I remember correctly, I don't have the email correspondence anymore, everything, but I think it was late summer 2006. So what I want to talk about in this video is how this guitar came to be, why it took 2 years, the specs, a little bit of playing, showcasing the pickups and how it sounds, both clean and distorted, all that good stuff. And as I said, this is my second custom guitar. You can check this video up in the corner here, where I talk about my first custom guitar, and that's that. So I hope you enjoy, and let's get cracking. If you've seen my first video where I talk a bit about my journey as a guitar player, I am heavily influenced by Steve Vai, and I started playing guitar in fall of '92, and I started on a cheap Strat like so many other people. In 94, 95, when I was still in gymnasium, which if you're American is the same thing as high school, more or less, I wanted a new guitar. And in my hometown at that time, there was a luthier in town. He was mostly focused on repairing violins and stuff, but he did make guitars. So I got the idea back there because I was really enamored with this guitar here. I knew that he probably couldn't do the Swirl, which is what this is usually called, the multicolor thing. So I was more interested if he could do the black and green one, which is the one I think they offer of the Universes right now. I don't know if it's in production as of this recording, but I asked him at that point. He wasn't the right guy to do it. Plus a lot of compromise. The biggest compromise would be the tremolo system, and in general getting it to look anywhere close to an Ibanez guitar. Again, copyright reasons and so forth. So I shelved that idea for some years. And then when I started doing my PhD in Germany, I moved to Germany to do my PhD. And because I was living very, very cheap and not spending any money, and the pay was relatively good at the place I worked at, I was saving up quite a lot of money. So I had my first custom guitar commissioned, and because I'm a physicist and I focus mainly on theoretical physics, and my PhD was in the end a combination of an experiment I did in the fall of 2003 and some theoretical work around that. Not to bore you too much with that. So I did a lot of calculations and simulations for those experiments I did, and those calculations usually took anywhere from 20 minutes to complete to an hour, depending on how complicated they were. So since I didn't have anything other to do, I browsed the internet a lot at work. We were allowed to, so there wasn't really much when they weren't very strict with internet users at our university. So I was on the Kramer forum a lot, and especially a lot of on the gem site forum, which was more or less unofficial Ibanez forum. So after I had commissioned my first custom guitar, which is my replica of Eddie Van Halen's Ernie Ball Music Man guitar, I saw a guy on the gem site forum called Little Green Man. His real name is Jeremy, all from Canada, and he had started a guitar repair shop, custom guitar shop called LGM Guitars at that point. So this was, again, early 2004, I think. And I saw some of his work, and then that idea of having this guitar made. At that point, I said to myself, if I'm gonna have this made, I want it as close as we can get with everything. Because if you look at, Steve had 3 prototypes made of the universe from Ibanez. One of them got this monkey grip, as they call it. And it wasn't supposed to get a monkey grip. That's because it got in the hand, the body got in the hands of one of Steve's friend who used to build guitars for him. If you've seen the guitars Steve played in the era with the David Lee Roth, he had a Swiss cheese guitar, he had a flame guitar, and all that. These were called gem guitars, and that's because they were made by his friend Joe Desperny or something. I'm probably butchering the name. And they were called Gem. He did a lot of those guitars for Steve. And Steve, of course, had his Green Meanie guitar, which is a Shotwell Jackson guitar he got from Grover Jackson that he customized. And that's the basis of the Gem later on. The name Gem comes from Joe and his guitars, but the design of the Gem is based on the Green Meanie. So that's the short history lesson of that. So that's the reason why, if you've seen the Whitesnake video, Fool for Your Loving No More, Steve plays exactly that universe guitar, and it has the monkey grip. In one of the others music videos from the Passion Warfare album, I think I Would Love To, he plays one of the others without the monkey grip. And if you have an early pressing, I will show that early pressing of the Passion Warfare album. If you look on the back, you see Steve's feet with the guitar lying on the floor, and it has a monkey grip. I can show you. Let me quickly. This is my album of Passion Warfare I bought in '91, and as you can see on the cover, it doesn't have the monkey grip. And my pressing of the CD, you can see the monkey grip has been removed by airbrushing or by photoshopping. So only the very few copies of that album had that. So this was never intended for the production model of the universe. So that's why it was changed, because the album came out at the same time as the universe came into production. So that's that. but I wanted it with a monkey grip, and if you can see, mine even has the lion's claw like the gem does. And also mine has the all-axis neck joint like the later Ibanez has got. Steve's is of course an 89-90 model from the custom shop, and there they still use the angled 4-screw backplate with where it's just angled a little bit, like the early gems from 87 and up to I think it's 90-91. The shift comes with the all-axis neck joint. So that's what I wanted. So I asked Jeremy whether he could do that, and he said, "Well, I think we can do that." Because, and this is, again, why this guitar is so special, is that the swirl is done by the same artist who swirled Steve's 3 universes. And that's Darren Johansson of ATD, About Times Design. He, back in the early 2000s, late 90s, he offered it to do swirls on basically anything, but mostly guitars. So the way this guitar came to be is that I commissioned Jeremy to make the guitar. So what he did is that a former executive at Ibanez or Hoshino in the US, Hoshino USA, had offered offered replacement bodies of basically everything they had done. He had templates somehow of that. So he offered, it was possible from him to get a left-handed universe body with a monkey grip, with the lion's claw and an all-axis neck joint. So the body is made by him. Then the body was then shipped to Darren, who is in Florida. I don't know if he's still there, but he was at the time. And Darren then swirled it, did the swirl. So that's the simple story of it, except that story takes 2 years. So I backtrack a little bit. So I commissioned Jeremy to make this guitar and everything. A caveat, the story will get more complicated or convoluted, more or less, because the neck that's on the guitar right now is not the neck Jeremy made for it. I will show some pictures of the original neck from when Jeremy, LGM Guitars, put it together, and before they sent it out, how the original neck looked, and also talk about why it has a new neck and so forth. It's a long story. It took a long while after I got the guitar to get it to look like this. But that's that. So I commissioned Jeremy to make it in somewhere late summer 2004, I think. Again, this goes straight off my memory, but that's around the time I think I did it, and I paid again 2,000 euros for it back then. Wired him the money, and if you've seen my first video, you heard me complain of how long wiring back then took, which it still does today. Kind of funny that with all this tech, it still takes 8 years to wire money from one country to another. But again, that too much ranting. So let's get back to it. I did that. He gets a body relatively quickly built by the guy. I think he was somewhere on the West Coast. I think somewhere in California. He makes the body and it gets shipped out to Darren. And that's where things more or less stop, because Darren is at the time, was a quite there's a reason why in if you know the production one of the Universe guitars, especially the swirled one, Darren only did a very few handful of the swirls. The rest of them you see in the wild are made by I think a Japanese artist, and they look very, very different. You can always tell when you see those in the wild in pictures that when it's done by Darren, and that's this swoosh that his has and how the colors match together. Many of the ones made by that Japanese artist or whoever did it, you can tell that they haven't got the process down in the same manner and as well as Darren. So they look like it's splotched together, because the way you swirl a guitar is that you take the body and you seal it by painting it white. Then you fill a top. You can, again, I'll link a YouTube video to how it's usually done with water. This is done with watercolors, and you then drizzle the paint you want on top of the water, so it doesn't break the surface and it doesn't mix. That's the most important, that the colors don't mix if you want it to swirl like that. And then you dip it and then pull it through, and you should get something like that. You get, of course, something unique every time, because it varies who does it and how everything is set out. But Darren does it a very particular way. You can always tell with the original Universe guitars, the multicolored, which are done by Darren. I think Philip McKnight has a Universe guitar. I know he has a Swirl guitar, but I've seen hang on his wall a Universe guitar, and that is not one made by Darren. I'm almost certain it's not one of his. But that's another tangent. So Darren gets the guitar, and then he, at that time, like I said, he is difficult to get a hold of. Very, very difficult. He's in Florida, and for me, I always think of it, he's the typical Florida man, if you know what that means. So months and months go by and nothing happens. And Jeremy tries to call him and gets a hold of him sometime, and he says he's reassured he's gonna get it done. And I think about roughly a year later, the body gets swirled, and I'll show you the picture of the swirl when he did it. And you can see in the picture, that looks nothing like the one I have. There's yellow in the picture I show, but that's because I can't remember what happened to the body. Something was wrong with the body or something, so the swirl had to be redone. And that's why it took another, I think, 6 months again. And I even called Darren himself finally, and it finally got done. And when he did it, he shipped it out, I remember, relatively quickly to Jeremy, and then everything's moved along relatively smoothly afterwards, getting the guitar put together and everything. So that's how more or less the guitar came to be. There. So now I will talk a little bit about the general specs of the guitar, at least in this condition it is now. So the body is basswood, American basswood. Again, monkey grip, lion's claw, all axis neck joint, maple neck with rosewood fingerbore, the typical pyramid inlays as you see on the earlier gems and on the Universe guitar. The standard, again, I get to the neck who made the leg a little bit later, but it has the neck headstock, of course, looks a lot like a Ibanez headstock. It's not quite that, it's very, very close, but that's because the neck I made the final change to make it look exactly as I could like an Ibanez, and then I put a decal on it to make it look at Ibanez, so everything looks Go to tuners. This is an aftermarket locking nut, Floyd Rose locking nut, because at the time there were no, Ibanez had not made a 7-string lefty at any point, whether an RG universe or anything. So it wasn't possible to get a nut of theirs, a go-to nut, because they had one. So the trim you see here is actually a righty trim that's been converted, because it's almost symmetrical. There's a tiny difference in the fulcrums of the knife edges between the posts. There's a rounding here, so that's why you see, if you look, it has 2 holes, kind of like if you ever seen the Korn guitars with this weird tremolo they have on, or this dual arm they use. So what Jeremy did, he simply took a righty trim and then drilled a new hole and took the arm attachment and moved it into, and then it works. The trim has never failed me. It works as a lefty trim, but if it was there, I know they've, right now I'm not quite sure. I know they made a lefty RG7. I just don't remember if it's with a low pro edge or whatever. But I know they came later. I know there are LA Custom Shop lefties out there. I owned one for a very brief time before I got this, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But I had the fortune of having a LA Custom Shop baritone 7-string for about 2 years, but that's for another video. So this is a righty trim. Pickups are the Blaze 2 pickups, like on the video universe. The volume and tone are original, again, from so the color matches like it should. The pots are also original universe pots that Jeremy sourced, but they are for right-handed. So when I want to turn the volume off, it's opposite than it would usually be for me on a lefty guitar. But I wanted everything to be as close as possible, so that's a funny little change. And then it's a typical 5-way switch. So that's the basic spec of the guitar. And it's been in my possession now for 20 years. And it's a wonderful guitar, both because it is my dream guitar next to my first custom built guitar. So that's the first. Now I got, like I said in the beginning of the video, I got this in late summer of 2006. And what happened was, I don't think I have a picture of the guitar when it arrived, but part of the headstock had broken during shipping. Just the tip had broken, which I fixed myself. I simply just filed it down and made it look like nothing happened. But the neck was causing a ton of issues. I can't remember, I had trem problems and I had buzzing problems, and I couldn't fix them. And it became frustrating, and I tried and tried because I couldn't get the action very low on this. Now the action is very nice on it. So I ended up saying, no, I have to get the neck replaced. So I started to look around for someone who could build me a replacement neck. The idea was send them the neck that is and say, build it, pardon me, build the neck to the exact specs of this neck, and then ship it, send me that neck. I found at that point that would have been 2007, somewhere in that. I thought of 2007. I think, or again later, again a year went by with the headaches of the guitar or the neck, because I think the neck had warped at some point somehow, and this is not a critique of Jeremy. I'm still happy he did it. He did great work, and he made the guitar I wanted at the end. But the neck he made was his first electric guitar neck. He had made acoustic guitar necks before, so I don't know if his inexperience may. Again, this is just speculation. Again, that's that. So I end up looking for someone to build me a new neck. And I did, and I wanted to find someone inside Europe so that I didn't have to ship it like across the world. So I found, I think it was Sims Custom Guitars in the UK, because they had done some work for Steve Vai. Steve has a guitar he has named the Bad Horsey, which is this guitar, and this was a production model in 2007, 8 or whatever. That has this mirror finish, and more what the work they did on that guitar was they installed those LED lights in the neck. If you ever seen Steve live when he plays platform, he usually pulls that out, and then the neon light goes up. And now I think he has a whole suit he wears along when he plays Bad Horsey, his song from Alien Love Sequence, and it's great. It's great to see it live. So I asked them whether they could build me a new neck, and they said, "But we can't do the headstock, of course, completely right, but we can get it close." So what they did, they basically made the headstock, and the swoosh, as we know, that the Ibanez guitars had, they didn't do it. It was just a bloop, like a rounding they did. And when I got the neck, I filed it down. It took me 2 days to file it down, where I simply, with a fine sandpaper, filed it down so it looks like that, and then I put on a decal, because they just painted the neck and coated it, and that's that. So they built a new neck for me. So I got the neck. I think it took I sent them the neck, and then they built the new neck and shipped it back. So I installed it, and of course I didn't. And this is just me not thinking for a minute. Is of course it because this is a neck that's never been on a body, so the frets weren't leveled properly for the body. So I took it to a luthier when we still had luthiers in town where I live, and he leveled the frets and crowned them, so everything was fine. And then you would think everything was good, and it was in the beginning. But one of the problems the guitar still had is that I couldn't lower the action very much. I think my mistake was I didn't send them Sims guitars the whole guitar, which I should, because then they could have. I think that the heel joint is simply not thick enough, so the neck is too deep into the body compared. But the guitar was more or less fine anyway. I don't play this guitar that often, and it's not because it doesn't work or anything. It stays in tune fine. I just put fresh strings on it and everything, and it's wonderful. I just realized when I got the guitar, and that is the thing when you tell someone at the other end of the world to build your guitar of your dreams, that if you use the 6-string guitar, is say, well, playing 7-string is really different. There's more noise, again, the wider fretboard and everything. I just realized very quickly that I am a 6-string guy. I wouldn't trade this guitar for the world. I still play it a couple of times a month. I pick it up and then play it. And when I play it for hours. I don't put it down after I sit and play it. But it's always getting used to every time with this guitar. So that's that. One of the other things, and that's not again, as you can see, the neck is rosewood. The rosewood they used at Sims Guitars was very bright. It was very, very bright, I remember. And you can see it has been darkened over the years. And that's because every time I would change strings, I would moisturize it. Not, as you know, most of the time, a lot of people use lemon oil or anything to moisturize. I use something that is usually for furniture to moisturize the wood. But it has I can't remember what it was called. Something I found on the internet back in 2006 or something. I bought it, and it darkens the wood. And I bought it specifically because I knew it would darken, and that had darkened the wood, the rosewood on the neck, so it looks like that now. And you can see also one thing very nicely on. I don't know if you can see it. Is that it's a very nice flame on the maple neck, very beautiful flame on this. So it was still bugging me that I couldn't lower the action on the guitar probably, but I simply got used to it. Say, okay, that's that. It simply can't get any lower. So, but when I was working back in 2017, 16, 17, I had my other custom guitar. It got new frets installed on it. The nickel frets got what do you call it? Were worn down, so I got installed stainless steel frets, and I thought it simple. And this was Hansen Guitars in Stenstorp, which is about 40 kilometers away from here where I am. And I thought I asked them, can you please take a look at this neck and see if you can raise it or fix it? And they did. So the neck has been shimmed now, and now the action is quite nicely low. And that's the state of the guitar right now. And it's really a wonderful guitar. But it has taken a number of years to get there, to be to where it is, where it is not playable. It was always playable, but get it to where okay, this is more to my liking. And so this has been it's been a long journey and a lot of extra money. I think I paid 800 euros for the new neck. I sold the old neck to a fellow lefty, I think, on the Ibanez, on the Gemsite forums, and because I thought maybe somebody can straighten it properly, because again, like I said, I think it was warped or anything, at least. So that's that. And now I'm gonna show you one of the other things, some more close-up pictures of the guitar and off the back, because one of the things that's installed on this is a tremolo no system. I'll talk a little bit about that, but and then I'll play you a little bit something, give you a little bit of sound, both clean and dirty, and I'll see you back here at the end. And here are some more close-ups of the guitar, of the Swirl. You can see there's only a little bit of yellow in this one here. It's mostly black, and then the pink with the green, but it's still very, very cool. I'm very, very happy with the Swirl. And as you can see here, there's the original insertion hole for the trem arm, and this is the one Jeremy drilled for it. And you can see the studs or the posts with the hole, hopefully with the binding screw, like they have the Ibanez or the edges and low pro edges, which makes them so great. And again, of all the, what do you call it, of all the licensed tremolos, this is really one of the best, next to, again, the go-to 1996 tremolo, because it is so smooth when you use it. Very the only thing that is similarly as smooth is the original Floyd, which I have on a different guitar. But there's something just about this trem here, both it's in design and its comfort when using it, especially the low pro version, that just makes it really one of the best trems you can. Plus, it if you want to buy a replacement trem, they aren't as expensive as the original Floyd, so that's one thing. And the same goes for the go-to trem. I think the go-to trem is not half the price of an original Floyd, but somewhere around, I think 60% or something. It may have changed with all the inflation. And as you can see here are the wonderful, beautiful pyramid inlays. Then the nut, again, this is front mounted nut, string tree, and then the logo, which I just bought off, or the decal I bought off of eBay when I got the guitar. And you can see my attempt of getting this swoosh. Really, you can see some of the paint has come up, has fallen off at the edge. But that's that. It's a 20-year-old guitar. So that's the state of guitar right now. You have the monkey grip, and you have, of course, the lion's claw. And if we just, let me quickly take the arm out and then turn the guitar around. And here you see the tremolo. I had that installed back in 2017 when I had the neck shimmed and everything. For those who know what the tremolo system does, it basically allows you to turn your guitar into a dive-only tremolo system or a locked trem, meaning like what you would call it now. So the trem is completely blocked off, so you can do proper double stop, chicken picking, bends, and so forth without the guitar going out of tune. So that's that. I had it lying around for years, but I'm not very good with a soldering iron, even though I'm a physicist. So I had them installed at the end when I had the neck looked after, and so forth. And you can see here this beautiful flame and the typical way of Ibanez doing it their way with the, can't remember, is this 11 or 14 degrees angled neck joint. And again, this is again the older version. It doesn't have the volute as the newer Ibanez guitars have. But that's that. And of course, I can't have it without a DiMaggio strap. This has faded over the years, of course, but it's like his on the cover. So this is a very unique guitar because of the swirl and because of what it is. And the frets on it are 6104 like on the Universe, and those are standard nickel frets. I haven't had the frets changed because, again, I don't play this guitar that much, so the frets are still in peak condition as they've been since I more or less got it. There are no really uses on the frets. So yeah. So now for some sounds of this guitar. It's a 5-way switch. I'm going to first demonstrate the cleans of all the positions of the 5-way switch. You can see my pedal board here. Nothing is on. And I have in the next room my amp mic'd up with the SM57 going directly into my audio interface. And in the effects loop of the amp, there is some delay, some reverb, and a little bit of chorus also. So this is how the bridge position sounds. So let's here, got some there. And now for the second position, this is something I discovered after I got the guitar. Is that when you hear this position, this is supposed to be the inner coil from the bridge position with the single coil in the middle. And what you will hear now, if I play just a little bit, you can see here it sounds very thin, and that's because it's in out of phase mode. For some reason, when Jeremy wired it up, he wired it with the neck, with the single coil, middle single coil, out of phase. The 4 position, which is the bridge and the neck, the bridge and the single coil is also out of phase. So the single coil limit is out of phase. I don't know why, because I can't remember. It's not, a standard Universe doesn't sound like that. So this is an out of phase sound. I discovered it later because I rarely use these positions. So I just, when I got the car, just check, okay, all the positions work. I didn't pay attention until I think a year later. I thought, why does it sound like that? And then I realized, oh, it's in out of phase, and I kind of like it. It's a unique sound, and not and here on this one, they're quite thin sounding, but I've grown to like it. So again, for the 4 position. And now for the single coil itself, it sounds like. You can hear that it's much fuller now with the single coil itself. So now if we go to the fourth position, which is again the neck, the single coil and the inner coil from the bridge pickup, and you get this sound. You can hear it again thins out a little bit in this position. So now for the what do you call it again? The bridge pickup. No, it's not the bridge, the neck pickup. And you get that typical bridge sound. So those are the clean sounds. And now let's switch over to some distorted sounds. I'm gonna turn off the chorus, and so we get a more clear of the distorted tones. The chorus, so let me quickly do that. So the chorus has been turned off, and I've activated the first channel on my heavy impressed pedal, and I'll go through the 5 positions of the pickups. So again, here is the bridge position. And now again for the second position, out of phase. You can really hear the quackiness that this out of phase sounds has in this position. So now the single coil for itself. And now the fourth position. And you can again hear, you get that quackiness of the out of phase of the 2 pickups. But it's a bit now a little more thick sounding, because we are again going out of phase with the neck pickup, and then the neck pickup for itself. Sorry again. So that's that. So that's my second custom guitar, and the long journey to getting it into what it is today. And again, it's again one of those guitars that's been with me and will be with me to my death. That I have a lot of affection for, because again, it's the guitar of my childhood dreams of teenage being when I started playing guitar. So that's that. I hope you found this story a little bit interesting. I waddle on again like I do. I didn't do too many tangents this time. So that's that, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye for now.